such a heavy introduction, and good afternoon, everyone. It's really a pleasure and honor to be present in front of the eminent leaders over here, who's carrying the country's GDP on the shoulders, producing products, manufacturing. And when I talk about manufacturing, I grew up on a factory floor. Always three things I kept in mind and which I learned from my seniors. Manufacturing is all about confidence and courage. How do we bring the confidence and courage is one of the focus for manufacturers, because our product has to establish quality and it has to be produced with consistency. Anything we can do with quality, consistency, and predictability of service, and that's where we establish confidence. Hence, manufacturers are always the great. So first of all, a big round of clap for all of you for producing products to establish confidence of our nation and taking the shoulders of the GDP in our country, right? So what I just want to share today, you don't need to see like a presentation, but after an inspirational session from Siben and actually Kandalwal Sal, I can confidently say that this is going to be a boring session for you over the last 2 days, but certainly I would like to take an opportunity to share some of the ideas and thoughts, what I have seen by meeting few of our customers, their thoughts and ideas, and I try to share some of those ideas, right? So the first thing which I just want to talk about, just more of a picture here, right? So we produce cars, we produce oil, we produce big control panels, we produce CPG products. So manufacturing environment has always been the complex. Some of them say that, okay, every time you give examples of only automotive, because automotive is easy, right? You take up all the parts from your supplier ecosystem, you assemble it, you get a car. And if you go to the batch process, they say, no, batch is not so easy. And after batch process, you see we have a very continuous manufacturing line, which is different manufacturing environment. And finally, you need to do packaging and palletization. It works like an automotive company with a single piece flow, right? In the same factory, you will see a differential of batch process, line manufacturing, continuous line manufacturing process, then you also see it, right? So then if you go and talk about those practices, then that is also not sufficient. Why? If you go and see an aircraft builder or a shipbuilding company, right? Or any of those complex engineering organization, that manufacturing environment completely works on different setup. Why? There is no ready-made bill of material, there is no ready route, and everything has to be stitched with hyper-personalization based on what the customer has wanted through it, right? So hence, for all manufacturers who's dealing with complexity day in, day out, and always with working with constraints, and constraints is always like either a material constraint, people constraints, and availability of machine as a constraint. So we are the people who have been able to produce things which I spoke about with confidence, with all the constraints, right? So one of the key things which I just want to highlight here is that when we go today, what are the various changes in the industry that's happening, right? If you go to an automotive maker, they say that, okay, we are not a traditional automotive engineering company, we are a mobility platform company. And if you go to a bank, I don't know how many of you visited bank in recent times. Yeah, hardly anyone, right? So today the entire bank is on your mobile and a platform, right? If you want to buy anything, dresses, clothes, electronics, and for your parents, if anything you want to buy for them, or for your kids, it is all platformized. You get loan, everything, and the entire bank is in your hand, right? So if you go to a medical equipment manufacturer, right, diabetes monitoring machine, or you will see a lot of accessories, right? So they don't want to be called as, I'm a medical equipment manufacturer. We are an end-to-end healthcare solution provider. So that's the change in the thing. If you go to, like for example, Nike, I have just put the Nike running app. I thought they only sold shoes, but later on, I've discovered that they had almost like 7 platforms. And one of the platforms is that irrespective of whichever shoe you have, you can log into the platform. You can actually track all your performance of how much walking you do, running you do, and everything. And there's an engagement. So I always thought that when shoe doesn't have a sensor, but still Nike was able to track through in terms of all the performance of it, right? And if you see the other industries, like the complex, the remote oil exploration sites, many times it is unmanned place, but we need to manufacture products or explore the drill, the crude, as per the need of high productivity, because the more your assets are utilized, the more outcome you will get through. Close to 700, 800 suppliers will work. But how do we ensure that they all work on time? Again, in the case of this, there is a platform. I will see that Slumbergers have created a platform, and even Shells of the world, where because of their incumbent knowledge about the remote fields of geological data, the drilling performance, where to do, how can I create a data product which will be of valuable strength to other players, right? Then I would like to call out the ABB. I've just put a picture of it. So earlier they used to keep all their control panels, remote installation of the products. It is all on the field, right? And they also came up with the products which will actually connect to the remote field and cloudifying their particular products. So in all these cases, and I will add one more example, elevator company, they said that, okay, we are not manufacturing elevators, we do people movement as a service, right? And engine manufacturer, they said we don't manufacture engines, then we always do charging of our customer based on power by hour. Number of hours my engines are engaged to the aircraft, we only charge. Slowly what you are seeing as a trend and a pattern is that everybody is getting into an as a service, as a solution provider. So the manufacturing, whatever products we do, how well it is going to engage with each one of them in a remote field is about one area of the focus of the innovation which we see. Second thing, it also helps us to drive through enhancing our operations. Much before anything could happen wrong, we are able to predict, because you are able to get the data from remote field and you are able to give the insights, and hence what needs to be done in terms of engineering change, or what needs to be done in terms of the next product release, or even over the air updates if we need to do, how well we can do it is all about the additional enhancing operation point. So this is one idea which I just want to leave. For all your products what you manufacture, you see that even if the product goes remote to the field, how you are able to drive through the remote performance management, how you are able to engage with the customer, and how you can help in bringing some of those data to in terms of improving it, right? And I had a chance to meet one of the tire manufacturers last year. He also said that, okay, I don't want to sell tire, number of kilometers the tire goes, I would like to only charge for it. So which needs that deeper engineering on putting the sensors in the tire, taking the data, and in different road conditions the tire goes. Because every automotive will get tested under desert conditions, and it also get tested under the icing conditions. And how well my tire perform is nothing but taking data remotely and do it, right? So this is one idea I just want to talk about. The second idea is all about, and this innovation is one word I kept hearing, and I also wanted to learn what is this innovation so that it simplifies for him, because everything what I do in somewhere it is falling under the innovation bucket, but to establish what is innovation all about, right? And this innovation is always tagged with growth. And who is not interested in growth? We want GDP growth, we want our national growth, we want to have profit growth, revenue growth, salary growth. So there is always a factor of growth which everybody wants, right? And this growth is coming as a result of in multiple fashions of innovation, right? And what are the different types of innovation which we can talk about, right? Whatever we do on the shop floor, or whatever we do on the supply chain, logistics, anything that gives me incremental benefit, that is called incremental innovation. Yesterday sir spoke about it. We are not at all interested in incremental growth. We are highly ambitious people. We want to grow big and we want to go fast, right? So something beyond incremental innovation if we do, I have just put up to 2x. Naturally yesterday it was only 15-20%, but I thought, okay, even incremental innovation can brought up to a 2x growth. But if I want to really do more, certainly I need to look through the landscape of my products, what business architecture we are trying to bring. The one which I spoke about, the new platforms which will engage with your customer, what new services you can add through everything. The fundamental business structure itself is getting changed, right? from a steel standpoint, right, I can be very competitive. Advantage is that I am the lowest cost steel manufacturer. Why? My business advantage is all about I have a complete integrated steel plant, the coal mines, iron ore mines, the power plant. And not only that, I could hear while the discussion, the forward part. Today I'm invested in an automotive because the steel is finally going to get used in the automotive. So one of the areas of the business architectural innovation is also about how do I scale and diversify my product portfolio, right? And I will always take an example of an Uber, right? Uber was a platform company. They didn't own any cars. They found a group of people, 21 years in every city, who had car, who knows driving, but somewhere how do I connect both? The concept came from maximum asset utilization in a factory. They tried to maximum utilize the car as an asset and the person who was driving it. And the immense value that got generated, right? So that is where fundamentally the business architecture level innovation, and that will help us to grow about 2x, 3x, 4x, right? Then the third category of innovation, I'm using the word, nice English words, but still I found it is good to also put it, discontinuous. It's not a linear graph. It is disruptive. So when COVID happened, we need to have the vaccines that has to be developed within a shorter time, within 6 months, with all testing, and it has to be injected. Completely with no time bound, we have to come up with a new idea, disruptive. So there is no linear growth. And somewhere the step change innovation and the step changer, anything which you do in your business, be a step changer. And manufacturing has a lot of ideas to bring that step change innovation, which will actually get to more than 10x, and the imagination is beyond, right? So any innovations, what you do, slowly what you're doing, you are not only helping your existing customers or the clients, but slowly with your product portfolio and scaling of your services, you are diversifying towards new customers, new markets, and that's where the scale and diversification effect comes in through, right? And another point which I just want to highlight, right, which is the third area, is also about, let's take a Uber example here, right? Initially it is only for ride sharing. Later on, for heavy people like me, then Uber XL came. Then people found out, okay, they take a travel. So then there is a local rental came. Then the car is also utilized for transporting foods. Then the fourth Uber Eats came. So slowly, with only one ride, the mobility, you have got so many other services got added. So as manufacturer, the next stage for us is also discovering what is that complementary and supplementary services which you can add to our services, because that is also going to add on the fuel growth. The case study yesterday we spoke about on the Mahindra, it is an example of a step change and rebranding to get into the utility vehicle on Scorpio, from Bolero to Scorpio. It was a step change innovation, right? So I just want to highlight the graph of how new products, scaling products, bringing new complementary and supplementary services can drive through the growth into more a discontinuous or a disruptive innovation, right? Also, the fourth point which I just want to highlight in all these examples, somewhere we are building network, because innovation, if it is not successful, I still need to be standing and driving it. And what helps us to don't fail on the innovation part? It is the power of the network. And what is the power of the network which you are talking about, right? We tried one model, it didn't work, but the entire supply chain is well established. The entire customer chain on my existing products and services is well established. And that's where, very confidently, there are two models of growth. You expand your existing product portfolio, but also explore the new product portfolio. And I will also try to address that. So in your organization, you need to look through two angles of growth. How do I expand or exploit my existing portfolio of services and products, what we do? And second is, what is the new, explore new product and services which we are going to do. Because unless we do these two are the riders of the growth, because I have to drive both incremental business as well as I need to bring some new age innovation products to it. And these two riders of the growth helps us to bring, like in Three Idiots movie, you would have seen that, right? The school principal, Viru Sakars, were writing in two hands. We have to have an ambidextrous organization. So the fifth important point for all of us is that when we are thinking to drive growth on my existing products and services to the new one, is also all about driving the ambidexterity in the organization. And ambidexterity helps in thriving using my existing capability. How do I help in driving the new products and new services in my portfolio? How do I cross-leverage the capability of my people who are existingly available in the enterprise? Suppose I want to do innovation, I can't get my people go out and get the new set of people to do innovation. I have to do with my existing people. And I have to upskill the people with the new technology capability that has come. And what are the digital technologies? 5 exponential digital technologies. And why we call exponential? Because it has to give exponential growth impact for us. 5G, IoT, AI, automation, and blockchain. So these are the 5 exponential technologies. How to use these 5 exponential technologies to get the output is the fifth area, which we need to look through to driving through the ambidextrous culture and ambidextrous organization. It may be very easier to send that, okay, we will manage both, right? So who is going to fund? How do I take the existing people and move? And what will happen to the existing work that is being done? Is all the dilemmas that will come. And that's where wonderful leadership sessions that talks about how we can help and manage ourselves with a very good people orientation, which is the 6th part. We need to have an organization and culture that helps us to build these ambidextrous organization. And that culture has to be fueled with passion. We heard about the passion, the purpose, right? I'll make the lowest cost steel across the world. Anything of digital of the car, it will be delivered from our side in India. So these are very competitive advantage statement. So what is that inherent competitive advantage you want to build for your enterprise, which actually fuels the purpose and the passion for it? And that is very much important to create these organizations of Explore organization. And it is very important for an Explore organization to find explorers. And how many explorers we get, it is also about how do we accelerate this innovation to capture new customers and new markets. Okay, this is great. So what? So we did innovation, new product, new services, it's fine. We build a network which will help us to earn revenue. Even if we fail, yes, the network effect will helps in taking care, right? Amazon, once you register, then your kids buy. Netflix, you see a movie, then your kids, your parents, right? Slowly at the background, these platforms are also creating multiple network effect. You are logging into a platform, but you are also getting additional people getting profiled into the platform, which means new customers, right? So what is important from a network effect is also very important. How this network is also helping us to operate very successfully, whether it's your supply chain, the entire network, your customer network, or there is a service technicians network for your products, if you're also helping in servicing. So managing this network through the platform, because all these are disparate set of groups, and we are trying to bring everybody to a platform way of doing the business as a manufacturer here, right? So unless we make money, any kind of innovation, yes, it is good to talk, but we will not survive. And that's the reason the companies that has existed more than 100 years always ensure that exploit and explore both the organization sustain, but parallelly, it is also very important to have this beautiful stick called the value stick. How many of you seen the value stick? So yesterday, sir spoke about it, right? So we know for a particular ride, I'll take again the Uber example or Ola example, right? You know, this is actually going to be the cost that will happen. And for using the car, then all his insurance and other additional fee, yes, all those costs gets captured. And then there is a price which we are willing to pay, right? Let us take 150 rupees or 100 rupees here. But suppose the rain happens, people want to take the ride. Or if it's heavy traffic, then there are people, kids traveling. So always there is a ability to give some additional customer delight, where the customer is willing to pay a higher price. And that's what we are talking about, willingness to pay. So the willingness to sell, where your suppliers, which is a bare minimum amount which he is going to charge you, is one area. At scale and diversification of product portfolio can come down. At the same time, based on a differential customer delight, I'm not talking about profit at all, what additional value we can give to the customer, where the customer is willing to pay a higher value, is where the willingness to pay comes in. The summation of all these value sticks, and this is a dual advantage equation. And one of the ways for you also to explore in your service is that how do we bring this dual advantage equation in the overall process, where I'm able to price my products better and I'm able to scale my products better. The more variance or what is the need on the hyper personalization customer is looking for, and the additional delight factor what we can give. Think value around those customer delight, profits will follow. And all the companies which has existed more than 100 years, they always had this explore organization within the enterprise, which focused also in the new products and services about this value stick. And this dual advantage equation, if you are able to find in your products and services at scale and at diversification, is also about making more profits for the enterprise, right? So that is the sixth point which I just want to highlight. So to do all of it, we need people, right? We can give any amount of money and buy a technology, but it fundamentally the people who will make a difference. And what kind of culture and what methodology and framework of driving these innovation at all these three stages is also very much important for the enterprise to learn, right? And that is a point which I just want to highlight here. The innovation journey on all these three areas can be in two tracks. One is the expand your existing core products and services, which is close to your core process, which I am calling as a exploit organization or expand organization. The second track is your explore organization, where we are trying to bring that the growth effect about 10x, 15x, 50x, 100x, right? And these are two different tracks of ambidextrous organization which we as leaders have to think through, because that only will fuel growth, right? And how this organization can be managed with the existing structure, with a core process, but you'll also see the explore organization needs also a different set of additional people to support. So yesterday we saw the example of Mahindra, which talks about this integrated design and manufacturing team of 120 people separately who are tuned to work with suppliers knowledge, building up the additional ecosystem. Not only they need to be within the enterprise, but they can also come from external to your enterprise. The startups, colleges, the ecosystems, government, all of them form as part of your additional ecosystem. And all the problems of the enterprise cannot be solved by ourselves. And the Explore organization is all about powering your ecosystem. So identify the talent in the startups who are engaging with you, or the colleges or the universities, because this ecosystem building is very much important to power up the growth of your Explore organization. The resources and competencies, yes, if I'm going to do incremental growth, I can always go to my business P&L and ask, okay, fund me. There is a new initiative of digital transformation. It is going to help me to give some growth on 15%. They will say, okay, fine, I think we do it. But if you're talking about new Explore organization, it is better to ask it. I think the new entity that was created with 20,000 employees, the Explore organization, I'm just trying to correlate, we need to take in a separate approach of a dedicated team that does for it. The metrics are different. We can't put them into, again, weekly cadence of how much sales you did, how much revenue, how much of manufacturing products you did, because they can't go into the regular cadence approach. Because here there is more experiment, here there is more failures, more trying out, more dedicated efforts, simulations will happen in this case, right? And we are not trying to put both the teams under the same measurement and outcome. So define those respective KPIs and the metrics where this Explore organization will go and try out those breakthrough or disruptive innovation, and you are going to be in the middle of the both, driving both the organization within your enterprise. And that's where the leadership moments, I think those first two sessions to drive an ambidextrous innovative organization becomes a very important aspect of how these explorers take themselves the responsibility of the enterprise, right? I'll just put some visuals here. So there are 10 types of innovation, right? I just want to just slow this slide where how it looks. One is around the offering itself, right? You create innovation of products with the new offering, services, new capability. So that is more on the product innovation side, right? We also try to create some of the additional complementary and supplementary services along with the product. So this is more about your, what is that you are trying to offer as a product and services for your growth. The other part is on the experience part, right? Experience around customer engagement, how you deliver your products to your customer, whether it's a direct from factory it is going to your customer, or whether it's going to the dealer, distributor, and warehouse it is going to go through. So there is also need to be innovation on the how the product reaches your final end customer is also another area, right? And the other part is allowed, you always made products, you know a product is doing well, so you want to bring some profit model in your product. You try to build your network of your customer base and supply chain and the distributor. So you're also trying to do innovation on that side of the world, right? Then the production process innovation, right? Where we are trying to talk about the complete industry 4.0 way of how do we bring the sensor to a platform, crossing through your PLC, SCADA, MES system, ERP system, and not only that, you need your supplier collaboration system on one side, you also need a customer collaboration system so that the entire systems, which is currently disparate, works in much more an integrated way, right? So those are all comes under the part of your process innovation, what we are trying to do so that we have a seamless growth across the enterprise. So product offering, configuration, and experience. So these are the 10 different types of innovation what you could bring to the enterprise. I'll not take much time, but set the agenda, because the leadership tone is very much important for driving innovation. And what innovation you are going to drive, set the agenda, set the leadership tone, because that is going to become very important, because that is what is going to flow at multiple levels. And how do you fuel the innovation? Talent. Identify the right talent. I think everybody spoke since yesterday about identifying the teams, building teams, culture, right? Being empathetic to each other, trying to find some new adventure and roadmap, right? I think the talent management comes as a very important point, and somewhere we need to also incentivize, because people who put additional work, and it's one of the points that comes into the way, the rewards mechanism is also very important, because you need to retain the talent, you have to grow the talent, skill the people, all of it comes into the way, and that is going to establish the full-blown innovation process, right from design, implement, manufacture, and finally delivering a full services associated with that, and funding governance metrics we spoke about. So these are the other 10 things which you will also take care when you are trying to bring in this innovation journey, right? And all this innovation journey, whether it's an incremental innovation or whether it's a disruptive innovation, at least you will put through this framework of the whole approach associated with that. I will not take last 1 minute. I think it's one kachamucha confusing slide. So just pardon me, because I thought it will be closer to the reality of what we deal with in software. See, somewhere this digital transformation, yesterday there was a question also on the digital transformation. I always wondered, nobody came and sold Uber, there is no salesman, there is no delivery person, there is no customer service person, but we all installed one platform, and beyond the departments, we are able to get a service. And what is that? It is nothing but a group of workflow that is able to move from one stage to another by using IoT of your mobile sensor, where you are present and where the driver is present. And then he comes to you, he picks up, it shows through the map, it tells you what is the predicted time you will reach. At the end of it, there is a payment that goes background, you give 5-star or a 4-star, what you wanted, right? There is no department here. There is no sales department, there is no procurement department, there is no customer service department. It all works on a workflow. And these workflows are connected to your value sticks. The more new workflows with these technologies you are able to create, right from your customer need towards your new product R&D bill of material, and converting this R&D bill of material to the manufacturing bill, towards the product that gets produced, and then it goes to the end to the customer. And these threads, by using digital technologies, I'm calling that as digital thread. This will become your golden thread of growth, because it is going to break the boundaries of your individual departments and how well you are able to redefine your workflows through these threads. It is nothing but, I'm using the word thread, but it is nothing but the workflow is where our value definition is going to grow. And the more digital threads we create, and the more these threads are in some way of engaging with your customer process, and more products and services will come, the more value will come, and the more value will deliver our enterprise value, our national value, our confidence value, everything will get growth through it, right? So with that, I will not take much time, but I had other slides to show, but I will leave it. But this is also another one, a big slide. Always think about the value, right? There should be an environmental value, which we are, because as part of the agreement, we said that the temperature of the planet has to be decreased. And how we are getting into the net zero, which is about the environmental impact and what value on the environment we take, right? Employee value, how do you skill, how do you the talent, adopting new technologies, retaining the talent, which is most important point, because ultimately it is the people and the culture is going to make a difference to every enterprise, right? And the third point is about your customer, right? Because the people who engage the product and services is the customer value, and overall it is going to bring in the shareholder value. So each of the small boxes represent here, I will share this content so that it goes to everyone, is all the impact points what you can drive within the enterprise, in terms of helping you to build that competitive advantage in terms of the cost, or how do you well use the existing data within the enterprise, and as well as how do you unleash the digital transformation in your enterprise so that you are more engaging with the customer as a whole, right? Thank you.